Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Boy, oh boy, the market catastrophe is beginning. The market is selling off big time. Let's talk about the 3 things that are happening and what the heck to do about it. And folks, this is the kind of day you want to get you a life insurance in as little as 5 minutes via the link down below, because if you even have the cojones to open up the stock market app today, you're like, oh my God, what? Everything is red, and it's red a lot. 8, 9, 5, 6, 7%, 10%, 11%, 20%. It's bad. The only thing that's green is Google, which absolutely destroyed earnings yesterday, and it shot up like 10 to 11% after hours, but no, it's only up 3.5% because the entire market's like, we're out of here. Yeah. At least you could still get 3 free stocks with Webull until tomorrow when you deposit $100 with Webull. Okay, let's talk about the 3 things going on, because these are 3 major things. We're gonna keep this nice and simple, and we're gonna talk about what the heck to do about it all. Number 1, obviously, COVID cases. The other 2 were less obvious. COVID cases are skyrocketing. We are going over 90,000 cases per day now in the last 24 hours, which is very bad. Now, it's very simple for us to think, okay, come on, Kevin. Like, we know COVID cases are going up because we're doing more testing, but that's not entirely true. See, COVID testing is up 9%. But COVID cases are up 25%. So the positivity rate is increasing. More people are getting sick. This is leading more people to end up in the hospital. Even though, compared to the beginning of this pandemic, less than 0.7% of people who end up getting COVID end up in the hospital, we have, which by the way is like a third or a fourth of what it was in the spring, we have so many more cases now, so many more people getting it, so hospitals are still starting to get inundated. This is very bad. This leads to a lot of concerns for the market. And get this is scary, but Morgan Stanley back in June predicted that we could see as many as 150,000 cases per day, which is nearly double the average that we've seen over the last week in the fall. And folks, welcome to the fall. Which it's crazy to say that we're in the fall because it kind of feels like winter is coming because everybody says winter is coming. But winter technically doesn't start until December 21st, which is weird because I guess winter's from December to March. But anyway, this is kind of freaky. Cases are rising. They're rising dramatically. There's no sign of it slowing down. And if we look to Europe, we get even worse news. You get France basically locking down their country. You get Germany saying we're doing lockdown light, which basically means essential workers, you can go to work, kids, you can go to school, because there's a low incidence of transmission of COVID at schools, which is weird because kids are slobbery and messy. But oh well, that's what's happening, at least based on research from 18,000 schools in New York City and many schools in Europe. But the point is, cases are going up. Stock market, don't like cases going up. Moderna yesterday shot up because they're like, hey, we're starting to collect funds for our vaccine. Well, guess what they didn't say yesterday? They didn't say when the vaccine would come. So I went through my Moderna research because I've got a binder with research on different companies, and I look and I go, they don't actually expect to deliver vials, maybe 20 million vials, maybe by New Year's Eve, maybe, but most of their initial production won't get out until early 2021. So we're gonna be stuck with this fall and winter season of cases rising, and we're not gonna get bailed out by a vaccine anytime soon, especially since Moderna is deemed to be the leader in getting a COVID vaccine out. Not so good. We got AstraZeneca with BioNTech and Pfizer, but they're not as far along as Moderna is. This is not good. It also doesn't help that both Regeneron and Eli Lilly say that their drug does not work well in people who already have an advanced stage of the disease, which could potentially lead to more people passing away. It works well if you use it early, which is one of the reasons Donald Trump got it so early, but we don't have enough vials to give it to everybody early, so they wait until people get worse, but then by the time the people get worse, it's like, crap, well, now it's not gonna work anymore anyway. Yeah, no, we're in the poopers, folks. We're in the poopers. Number 2, we're gonna talk about how to solve this too, because this is a disaster. Number 2, massive election uncertainty. Okay, this is no surprise. I've been talking about this for weeks. I've been talking about rising cases for weeks as well, but I'm not here to try to pat myself on the back. The past is the past. We have to look at what's coming. We know that we've got this insane volatility before the election. No stimulus. We've got threats of violence after the election. Walmart is taking guns off their shelves in Philadelphia because they think there are going to be riots. We've got threats of lawsuits. We've got threats of Supreme Court intervention. We've got suggestions from Kavanaugh, a justice, that vote counting might be changed, the way they count votes. There are so many insane things happening. People are dropping bombs into election, ballot collection bins. Yeah, that actually happened. This is insane. And this is all leading up to the November 3rd election. Now, hopefully by November 4th, things will calm down, but here's the problem. What if we have a contested election? If we have a contested election, which honestly at this point we could probably just say we probably will have a contested election, the reality is we have to look at, okay, what are we gonna get by election day? We're gonna get some certainty, at least on what happens to the House and Senate. This is going to give us a little bit more of an understanding of what to expect. Here are some scenarios. If we get a blue wave, that is Democrats sweep everything, ordinarily, usually we have the impression that, okay, well, if Democrats sweep everything, the market's gonna crash, right? Long-standing impressions of this. I've done some research and I've done some videos based on economists' opinions on this, and statistically, at least looking in the past, that might be true in the short term, but after about 6 months, all of that kind of wears off, and economists generally don't see a crash related directly to an election. These are just economists. I'll link the other video down below. But here's the thing. A blue wave would clear the path for a very large stimulus bill. Nancy Pelosi, Biden, Chuck Schumer, all of them in power, even though we may not love them, they would clear the path for large stimulus, which would certainly give the market certainty that, hey, stimulus is only a few months away. Okay, if things stay the same, that is, if we have a Trump president, we have the Republican Senate, and we have a Democratic House, we're probably going to have issues. We're probably going to continue to see gridlock. Continuing to see gridlock would not be good. It would not give the stock market any certainty that we're going to have any difference. We've been negotiating a new COVID relief bill in sincerity since August, and we got nothing done. That's not very good. So the election uncertainty goes away, but we don't get any blessing on COVID relief, right? Then, worst case scenario, this would probably be even worse, because at least Donald Trump in this scenario where, Trump wins and then we're in the status quo, we've got the Republican Senate and the Democratic House, at least we know that Donald Trump says, hey, look, I'm gonna do a big stimulus package after the election. Okay, at least he says that, right? Worst case scenario, in my opinion, would be a Democratic president, so Biden winning, then you've got a Republican Senate, and then you've got the Democrats in the House. Now you literally have the potential for Republicans to sandbag any kind of stimulus action in the Senate. And this is not trying to bag on Republicans or Democrats. Y'all know I try to be as neutral as possible here. So you got a lot of things at play here. Best case scenario is a lot of stimulus. Doesn't matter who brings it in. Look, if Republicans sweep everything and they can get us a large stimulus package, great. Just get us something. If Democrats sweep everything, they can get us a large stimulus package, great. Those would be certain environments. If we continue down this gridlocky path, not so good. Not so good. We also have expectations that, if Donald Trump and Republicans hold the Senate and the presidency, that it's possible we're going to see some China retaliation, which is not going to be so great for the tech sector. So keep that in mind if you're in tech, which I'm heavily in tech. Prepare for volatility in such an event as well. So you've got a lot of these things compounding. Okay, what's the third thing that's causing problems right now? Folks, the third thing? Guidance, AKA there is none. When you get companies like Apple and Google and Facebook reporting earnings, these are our big players. These are like our big five, right? You got FANG plus Twitter or whatever. When they're reporting and they're going, we're just gonna pass on giving guidance, that's a potential sign that they're looking at Europe going, oh crap, we might be locking down soon and we might be going back to March and April drama, which would not be very good for the market at all. Now, expectations and moving forward. Obviously, expectations. Let's say COVID cases skyrocket up to 150. Do I believe that the market is going to return to March 23rd and April 3rd lows, the two lows that we had in the market? Probably not. I don't think we're going to go that low because during those periods of time, we had massive panic in the market. Fear, panic, crisis feelings, bad. However, is it possible that the stock market's going to start hitting circuit breakers again and we're going to see a lot of downward volatility? Well, certainly we're seeing it today. Today is Friday. We've got Monday, we've got Tuesday, election day, and then next week is post-election day. Yeah, it is entirely possible that we are going to see a lot of drama over the next week. Personally, I believe that today will hopefully be part of some of the worst that we see. The reason I believe that is at least when the election happens, we'll know what's happening with the House and Senate. We'll have a little bit of clarity on what to expect there. Even if the presidency is uncertain, we'll have we could start kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Okay, this is who's got the House, this is who's got the Senate, gives us a little bit of guidance. in terms of civil unrests and protests, that can temporarily affect the market, but generally we go into situations like this more fearful of what will actually happen. Although then again, you've got like a third of the country that thinks we're just going to go into all-out civil war, which would be very bad, obviously. So, okay, so how do we play this? We don't think the market's going to go as low as it did in March. Right now, we've got volatility in the fear index, the VIX, way up. We're back to like March high. Well, we're not back to March highs, but we're going back into levels that are way higher than anything we've seen in the last 6 months. We've got a lot of people freaking out, taking money out of the market, and this makes a lot of sense. What do we do, and what should we do going forward? So here's my thinking. First, COVID cases on Monday, which is the day before the election, will probably come in substantially lower. I have a feeling that's going to give the market a little bit of like, hey, everything's okay, everything's okay. Unfortunately, the way COVID testing works is that COVID cases tend to come in highest Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I don't know why, and even Saturday, but the numbers that are reported on Sunday and Monday are always lower. So keep that in mind. That could mean we have a little bit of a green day on Monday when we open up again. No guarantees. This is just really short-term speculation here. So then the election happens. Then we get certainty on what happens with the House and Senate, but we're still potentially uncertain what's going to happen with the presidency. Then we have potential unrest, but things, in my opinion, as they come in, will start settling down a little bit. However, the danger is that if at the same time as things maybe start settling down with the election, we get a resurgence or a continued surgence, I suppose, if that's a word, in COVID cases, we start going into 100, 110, 120,000 cases a day. The market's still going to freak over this. Now, here's what happened in March. We had the entire market pull back substantially. This was actually, looking back, one of the most wonderful times to say, throw money into the fire pit. Put money into the market, put money in the market into companies that are going to survive the pandemic. This is a very important key. If you're throwing money into Delta and Carnival Cruise Lines and the retail and entertainment sector, be careful. These were the ones that dropped and then never fully recovered, right? Tech dropped, came back higher and stronger. Okay, so bottom line, my expectations here. I think today could be a very, very volatile day and potentially the most volatile day before the election because we've got a peak of cases, which we might not see again until Wednesday or Thursday or Friday of next week. And we're probably going to see lower cases on Monday. We'll see, no guarantees. But I do think we're going to have peak fear today, peak uncertainty and peak case fear, fear of lockdowns and so on and so forth, right? It is possible that those things are going to get worse. But I'm going to take a little bit of my cash, as much as it hurts, and I'm going to do some buying today. I hate throwing money into the fire pit, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw money into the fire pit. If things get better next week, okay, good. We got a little bit of buying in. If things end up less certain and more freaky next week, buy through this time. Buy. In my opinion, now's not the time to sell. If you break the sell button and you sell, what happens? You psychologically turn yourself into a seller and not a buyer, and you're missing out. Now, we have no idea how low this is going to go. This is where you get all the quotes coming out. Oh, be fearful when people are greedy. Be greedy when other people are fearful or whatever. And then at the same time, you get everybody in the comments going, oh, but you don't want to catch a falling knife. You got to be careful. You don't want to catch a falling knife. I don't need the money for 10 to 20 years or 30 years. And if you're in that boat, in my opinion, now's the time to go shopping. As crazy as this all is, I'm going to go shopping. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are we going into Armageddon? What's going to happen with lockdowns? What's going to happen with COVID cases? I ran a Twitter poll. I want you to check that out. Go to RealMeetKevin on Twitter. Let me know what you think about those Twitter results in terms of what kind of case counts we're going to see, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.